When I first bought this building, I knew there'd be a lot of work to do to be able to call it home. And even though the building was in pretty good condition, I just didn't really know what to expect. On today's episode, I want to share with you some of the renovations that are underway and paint a picture of all the things that I have left to do as I transform this building from souls to sawdust. Let's get started. If you've watched previous episodes, you'll remember that there used to be glass windows all the way across the facade of this building. And the entrance used to be over here on the side. Getting those windows out was one of the first things that I wanted to do. I wanted to move the entrance to the front, so now there's a door there. I still wanted some windows back here that would be part of the shop so I could have some natural light. And on this side, what will be retail, I wanted to have some natural light coming in there. So we got these windows taken out and we got it framed up. Come on inside and I'll show you what it looks like from the inside. I'm standing in what will become the shop, and you can see I've got 3 windows behind me. There's nothing special about them. They're just sliding windows, but I'll be able to open them up, open the door up in the back, and have some ventilation through the shop. That'll be really nice. I'll also be able to see out into the parking lot. If somebody pulls in, I'll know it. And I'll have some natural light in here for an assembly area. All those things are going to make having these windows really nice. Speaking of light, the light is horrendous in here right now. But I have 26 American green light LEDs over in the corner that are going to go up in here, and that will make the lighting in here kind of bug zapper tier. So I'm really excited about that. Once we got the windows out, and I'll tell you, I don't even know what was holding those windows in place, because when we got them out, the little knee wall that they were resting on was essentially rotted out. So we got those out and we were able to kind of assess, kind of how we're going to lay the frame line out and get all this going. I've got to give a whole lot of credit to my friend Phil. Phil is a friend that I've met through the channel. We also did some castle shows together last year. And Phil has a lot of experience in commercial building like this. So he came all the way from Nashville, and with him and another local friend, my buddy Knuckles, who's a carpenter by trade, we were able to get these walls framed up, stood up, and they turned out pretty nice. It took about 3 days. There's about 60 feet of wall. There's 20 in this section, and then on the other side of this wall here, on the front, there's 20 more feet, and then on the side of the building, there's about 20 more feet. So 60 feet of wall, 3 guys in 3 days. We got them stood up, and I think they turned out really good. Now, I've had the framing inspected, so I passed the inspection on that. Now, I'm just waiting on insulation. Now, insulation, what am I going to do? Well, I bought some of the regular insulation in the roll, some R19, yeah. And that's what I was going to do. I think now what I'm going to do is just have this spray foamed. I have a friend locally who has a really, really good spray foam business. He came out. I think he's going to help me out. So I believe what I'm going to do is spray foam the entire 60 feet of the front of the building, and then, from floor to ceiling, and then spray foam 20 feet on the side of the building, the part that we framed up from floor to ceiling. So what will that do? Will it help with energy savings? Maybe a little bit. It'll allow me over time, like I don't have the money right now in the budget to do the whole building, but over time I can do the back wall here, the next 60 feet, and kind of get this thing, buttoned up real good. But in the meantime, yeah, I'll probably save a little bit on energy, but what it'll really do for me is, you may hear in the background, this is a busy road out behind me, a lot of cars going by. It will probably just virtually eliminate all this road noise, and that will be pretty nice. We're probably not going to do the spray foam this week. We'll do it the week after, because I've got to remove all these panels off of this wall. So that'll be a fair amount of work. Let me show you the walls that we framed up. They look really good. Now we've moved up into the lobby of what will become part of the retail area. The new front door is behind me, and I think this would be a good time for me to reveal to you the name of this business. It will be called the Bristol Artisan Co. In a future episode, I'll explain how that name was chosen, why it was chosen, what it means to me and what I hope that it will mean to other people. I'll also share with you how the logo came about and why it looks the way it does and the message that I'm trying to convey through the logo. If you're following Redneck DIY on Instagram, you already know all these things because I've already revealed it. But if you are on Instagram, I've set up a new account for this business, Bristol Artisan Co. And I would really appreciate it if you would go follow that Instagram page and help me get a bump to grow that channel. As I said before, we're standing in the lobby of what will become part of the retail area. This is the front of the building. Here's the new front door. And I put a couple windows in this area over here. And that's where the entrance actually used to be. Now I have a couple windows that'll be really nice to have some natural light in here. And you probably noticed that I have some panels pulled off the top. Done that for a couple of reasons. One is to get ready for spray foam. And the other reason is because I'm going to have an awning over this door. So I've got to get in there and figure out how to scab in so I can attach an awning from the outside. We're still in the lobby of the retail area, and I've turned the camera around. The new entrance is to my left, and the windows and the old entrance is directly in front of me. I wanted to show you this. You may remember in previous episodes, there were two big double doors that swung out into the sanctuary of this church. Well, I've walled this up, and I'm just going to have one door. I probably have a window in it so I can see in here, but what that'll do for me is give me more display space, retail display space along this wall. I swear, it feels like everything that I take apart, I create 5 more things to have to put back together. There's still a lot of work to do up here. I've got to run some outlets. Probably need an outlet on that wall, over on that wall, maybe not on the front wall. And I also have to close this in. This is open, and I've got to build a knee wall to close that in. So there's a lot of work yet to go in here, but I ought to have a pretty good space. I won't have a huge retail area, but it'll be pretty big. I'll have plenty of room up high along the walls to hang things, and it ought to be a pretty good space. I have one more thing that I want to show you in this retail shop, so let's take a look at it. I've turned the camera around. Here's the windows and where it used to be the old entrance. The new entrance is directly in front of me. And I wanted to show you this room back here. If you remember in previous episodes, there was a classroom adjacent to the lobby in this church. Well, I've taken out part of that wall so I could expand my retail area. I also took the door out that was in there and walled it up. So now I have a neat little passageway that will go into even more retail area. I've got to give a lot of credit for some help last week. My buddy David Nichols Woodworking, drove here all the way from Kansas City, spent 4 days with me. And my really good friends, Patrick and Michelle, Leather by Dragonfly, you all know them. They came from Ohio and spent a couple of days. Between the 4 of us, we got an awful lot of work done, including scraping the glue off of the floor in this entire area here. And I can't take credit for that because they actually did it. Come on in here and let me show you this. As we come into this room, I want to explain that I wanted to have something in this project that was either done or virtually done. A place that I could come when I'm tired or tired of it and get inspired again. And that's what this room does for me because it's virtually done. I've still got to put down some baseboard. The floors in the retail area, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I'll probably just paint them because my budget just won't allow me to do anything fancy. But this room is virtually done, and I come in here and I kind of get inspired and I kind of catch my vision again. I love the look of it. The walls, that's just barn tin. And everybody always puts the barn tin on the bottom and the wood on top. Well, for a variety of reasons, we decided to put the tin on the top, and I really like the way it looks and the contrast. Now you may say, well, how are you going to hang things from it? Well, I'm going to punch holes in it. It's what I'm going to do. And the beauty of it is I can tell where all the studs are from where we screwed the tin in. The other beauty of that tin is it's pretty cheap. So if I wad up a panel and it looks pretty bad, I'll just go have another one cut and take the old one off and stick up the new one. I really like this wood. It's locally sourced. It's just tongue and groove pine. One side has a bead on it, the other side is just a flat face. I'm going to use this on the facade on the outside of the building. My buddy David helped me stain up enough of these boards to do almost the entire front. And on the front, I'm going to use the flat face, I think. I don't know, that looks pretty good too, but probably just use this flat face. The darker stain will give contrast with the light color metal on this building. I hope that'll look really good. I'll probably be starting on that in a couple of weeks. I've ordered a product to go over the house wrap called rain screen. And what rain screen will do is, if moisture does get behind this, it'll allow it to wick away and evaporate and dry out. So I think that's going to look pretty good. I know that over time I'll have to spend effort and money to take care of this, but I think if I put it up the right way and take care of it every couple of years and restain it, this ought to last a pretty long time. Another milestone is getting this sub panel installed, and this sub panel will feed everything in the shop. All the electrical, all the lights, all my machinery, everything in this shop will be fed out of that sub panel. The renovation of this building really began in this area that is the shop now. There was flooring in this area that I had to take up. There was also a stage back here. I had to take that stage out and break it down. The worst part of it was at some point in the past they had vinyl flooring down, so there was all this vinyl adhesive in here that had to be scraped up. So another good friend of the channel, Jim, who happens to be local, he just relocated here not long ago, he came over, we spent a day, and we scraped up all this glue off of this floor, about 2,300 square feet of it. It was a pretty tough day. But we got that up. You know, all these things that I was doing in the beginning, it was good because it gave me something to do and be productive, while at the same time I was kind of getting my head wrapped around the larger picture of the renovation. I was sourcing materials, I was getting permits, I was doing all those things. So it did give me something to do and be a little bit productive while all that stuff was happening in the background. I guess that's it for today. Gosh, there's so much yet to be done. And I'm feeling more than just a little bit overwhelmed by it all. But I have great hopes and dreams and aspirations for this building. My hope is that it will not only benefit me, but it'll be a place that will benefit other people. It'll be a place where people can come for inspiration, people can come and sell their doodads, and people can come and participate in the future Bristol Artisan Market that will occur in this huge parking lot and the field out back. But more fundamentally, I hope that it will be a place that people can come to meet good friends and have good fellowship. When you come to Bristol, and I hope you do, I expect to see you here. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everyone who has supported this project, either financially or through sweat equity. I'll never forget you or your generosity. In fact, I have a list of names hanging on the wall of everyone who's been involved with this project. And one day soon, I'll turn that into a very fitting and reverent sign that will always be displayed in this building so that I'll never forget, and anyone who comes in here will know. The money is flying out of my wallet and the sweat is flying off my brow. So there's still plenty of room to get involved with this project if you want to. I still have my fundraiser going. I'll have a link below. Or if you want to come down and spend a few days with me in Bristol, that'd be awesome too. All right, so it's time to wrap up. I'll check back in soon when I have more to report. But in the meantime, I hope everybody had a good week, and I hope that you'll stay tuned as I transform this building from souls to sawdust. Thanks for watching.